Chelsea nil, Man United nil. Another game where we've where we haven't scored against another top six opposition. But we have got a point in the context of the league table. That's not bad. It's a worse point for them than it is for us, I suppose. But how are you feeling on it? Is it frustrating that we haven't managed to go and really put Chelsea to the sword? Or would you happy with a draw even before the game?
As we said, didn't we, that we thought it had 0-0 written all over it, but I'm not very happy. No, I think, do you know what it is? I slowly keep feeling my expectations getting lower and lower for this team, and I don't want it to be like that. I think a game like this today, we should have been going out there and we should have been going to win it. I don't think we played that well. I really don't. I think it was quite an even game, but if anyone deserved to win, I thought Chelsea probably did. And this is another game now where we've not been able to score against a top six side. And for me, from the start of the season, that's not a lot of progression. If you can't score against a top six side, how are you going to win trophies? How are you going to go and get the top of the league? Because I'm baffled how we're second if we can't even beat a top six side. So I'm pretty disappointed because I just don't see improvements as the improvements at the rate that I want to see them. For example, Lindelof and Maguire starting again. It's an absolute joke. How can you be starting them again in a game like this? Fair enough, they actually
played well today as well.
Played pretty well. Fair enough, they played pretty well, but it's the whole point of it. It's not a future in that. When Eric Bailly sat on the bench, why is he not starting? Dan James playing 90 minutes when this isn't. People think he played well. I don't think he played that well.
He played well today. You don't think he played well? He did all right.
No, I don't. I honestly don't. I think it just wasn't the game for him. I really don't. I think he's a bit of a pace merchant where you want to get in behind, yeah. And I think he has had a few good games, but he's had a few good games and then he's in the starting lineup for 90 minutes on end against Chelsea. I think he should have been subbed off because I don't think his style of play was suited to this game. I think Fred and McTominay it's the same thing again with them. They're okay, but they're not good enough. And then I don't think we created that many chances, bar that obviously that McTominay save and like the Fred shot. I think our passing was just off, and I think we're not as well drilled as we should be for a team that's trying to fight for trophies and trying to potentially fight for top spot, which obviously we know is far gone now. But I'm not happy with the tactics. I'm not happy with the setup, and I'm not happy with the progression in these top six sides. I'm just not.
How much of it is down to Ollie playing like that? Like we were very wounded after the 6-1 defeat against Spurs, and ever since then we've just absolutely tightened it up against the top six side. But how much of this is Ollie just being cautious until he gets the reinforcements or the different types of players in the summer to then trust them? Is it a lack of trust? Is it that Ollie doesn't trust them to play more expansive against the better sides?
It could be, but at the same time, why do you want to draw 0-0s, and why are you saying that you want to fight for trophies when you can't beat a top six side? I mean, I'm telling you right now, the players that we have could beat a Chelsea side if we set up the right way and if we were well drilled and had,
especially that game with how it was,
efficient coaching. I'm not going on Ollie. I'm not seeing progression in our when we're possession based. When we get possession, we find it extremely, extremely hard to break teams down. This has been a constant thing now. We find it extremely hard to keep possession when we get highly pressed. These things, what I'm sick of is the lack of improvement in these areas, because with a proper coach, you've seen how, obviously I generally would not want Tuchel at United, I actually wouldn't, but you've seen how he's come in and completely got them pretty well drilled, the shape, the passing, within literally a month, if that. And I just think in possession, we need to be so much more well drilled. We need to have our patterns of play going forward. It's very same old, just pass it to Rashford on the left and hopefully he cuts inside and has a shot off. I mean, pass it to Dan James and hopefully his pace gets through. With our system, we're so reliant on Bruno Fernandes, and when Bruno Fernandes can't get firing
in the game,
the top six, which we have struggled to do because we've played defensively, and obviously we've played McFred in the CDM
role. Doesn't it? Yeah.
We don't have anything going forward. Whereas if you take a top class side, I hate referencing them so much, but City, and you take their main parts out of it, the system still works, and that's what I want to see. And that's, in this day and age, that's what you need to go and win stuff. And I just don't see that developing. I've always said I want to see I want to wait till summer. I want to see Ollie get all the players he wants to get and then see how we perform. And that's when you really can judge him for me. There's already people saying, obviously, they don't like how it's going, but I think we have improved massively, don't get me wrong. But I just think we're at a halt at the moment. And depending on how the summer goes and how our style of play goes against these top sides, and even against sides that are going to park the bus, that's when I'm going to judge it. Because honestly, I just think the defensive, not today, but in general, defensively, it's a lot of the same mistakes. Passing wise, we can't seem to get a passing rhythm going when we're in possession. And then attacking wise, we rely heavily on counter-attacking football, but we need to be able to do both. I love the fact that we're a counter-attacking team because that is Manchester United, but you need to be able to do both to win the important games.
With on maybe trying to look at some of the other side of the coin with a bit of positives.
Yeah,
you might not see it as a positive though. To be fair, the fact that they defended well today. You look at the whole back line and there was a lot of arms up with the Lindelof-Maguire situation, but tactically, Ollie said, "Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, off you go. Go really high and press Chilwell and press Hudson-Odoi in the first half." And then when Reece James came and done the same thing, and basically said to Maguire and Lindelof, "You need to look after yourself," which actually was quite easy against an Olivier Giroud who isn't going to run in behind. Mm-hmm. But because that they did defend well, do you think that was just due to the type of game that it was and the shape we were playing against? Or do you think actually when they put their minds to it, it can show that as a back four, even if it is Lindelof and Maguire, they are capable? Because last year, with Lindelof and Maguire and Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, we had like one of the best defences in the league.
I don't think it's got that centre-back pairing has got a future, but I'm going to have to say I do think it is due to how Chelsea have played. Like we've seen them play under Tuchel and they've not created that many chances realistically considering, and we've also been tending to get 0-0s in most of our top six sides. I think we got a 0-0 against Chelsea, didn't we, in the early part of the season.
Lampard, yeah.
For me, it's not a progression really because we need to be scoring goals against these sides. It's all right being able to defend, but you need to be able to score goals. And then if you're scoring goals, you also need to defend. So you need to get a mix of both. It's easier said, obviously, than done. But with the time that we've had, and from the start of the season, I do think we have progressed. I would have liked to see, I do think we did go more attacking, and I think our play was a lot more positive in this game than the first game that we played against Chelsea. But in teams like Tuchel's side, where the shape is very well drilled, very defensive, and then obviously they can attack as well and nick a goal. But I don't think the defence necessarily has improved because I think Chelsea they had probably slightly more chances than us, but I don't think they offered as much as what a team would usually offer going forward because it was quite an edgy game where both teams didn't really want to lose it, did they? And I think that's why the defence seemed to play pretty well. All I know that is in the future, I don't think Lindelof and Maguire can be a partnership together. I think, for example, BAILLY needs to partner Maguire or BAILLY needs to partner Lindelof, and then Tuanzebe needs to partner the other one because a centre-back pairing without pace, like if Werner was playing the first half, we could have been done for, especially with the full box bombing on the way that they were. And that's just the way I see it. I don't see much progression in defensively because it's the same as it was at the start of the season. And once a team fully comes at us again, then we'll probably see cracks start to arise, set pieces. We might see cracks start to arise. We've not really seen progression with that. And then going forward, start of the season, we couldn't score against the top six and we still can't. So where's the progression in that? I do think we're quite light though in our front line. I don't think Greenwood's quite ready to play the number 9 yet. I really don't. I think potentially, yeah, but in a game like today, throwing him in at the number 9, I think that's a big ask for someone who's not.
Well, all of the front three today, like I know you said about Dan James like staying on for the 90 and kind of what did he really offer. But
you know what? I'm not just saying it about
wasn't great.
All of them were pretty poor. It's not just Dan James. I think all of them were pretty poor.
Bruno couldn't get involved in the game.
The only thing about Bruno and Rashford is that they've got that moment in them. Like, obviously, no offense to Dan James, but his form recently has been good. But for me, he's a squad player. It's the same with Fred and McTominay. I generally think they are squad players once we get a better calibre of defensive midfielders in there. We need a ball playing midfielder. We miss Pogba so much today. We do. We miss the ball playing out from the back. I think Kovacic and Kante played better than our centre mids. Just they still weren't that great.
I thought it was quite even. I thought it was quite.
Just played better. And for me, I think they played well defensively, McTominay and Fred. I really do. But when you're looking to go forward, they don't
lack ideas.
Football. They don't offer possession-based football. And I saw McTominay a few passes that he did, and I was just like, it's so average. And I know he's been out, but for example, Van der Beek was on the bench today, wasn't he? Apparently, he's Ollie's signing, right? In a game where you need quick passing, quick football in possession, I just think he would have suited the game so well. Not necessarily in the CDM role, because we needed that defensive cover today. We really did. But the front three players weren't offering much, were they? And even Bruno wasn't offering much. Why can't you make that substitution to try and impact the game? I don't like it. A game management's another thing. How has he not got a minute in a game like this? No one was playing particularly well. So how is he meant to get into the team? And the thing is, I don't want the videos to come across negative, but I'm just baffled by a few decisions that keep on being made and the lack of progress I'm seeing in these big games. Because, I mean, if you can't progress against the top six, you can't progress to win a Premier League, you can't progress to win a title, you can't progress to win a cup, because you need to be winning against the top sides, and that might have been why we failed in a lot of semi-finals. I don't know. Yeah,
definitely. I see the frustration, and I think a lot of people feel the frustration in terms of, okay, cool, the glass is sometimes half full or half empty. The half full side is, these games against the top six, we haven't conceded. We're not leaking goals and being pulled apart and gaping holes and conceding loads of goals. But like you said, ultimately, to really capitalise on the clean sheet, you've got to get it right at the other end. And I think in these games, it's been easier to get the clean sheets because of the way we've been playing.
Yeah, the lack of ideas. Bruno gets targeted, and once he's gone, we've got nothing. And that's a lot of teams are starting to cotton onto that now. A lot of teams starting to cotton onto that. And in the summer, we need to bring in another creative player up front. We really do. And striker options as well. If Cavani's going to be injured, Martial's not really firing. I know he didn't get a fair chance today, but we need reinforcements in a lot of areas over the pitch. And I just hope that the Glazers do back Ollie in the summer, because especially if we end up getting second, because City, Pep's already been saying in interviews, we spend a lot of money. Like they're already leaps and bounds ahead of us. Liverpool are probably going to spend money again to try and get Klopp back up there. All the teams, Chelsea, God knows what they're going to spend, and we need them reinforcements, or else it's just going to be this constant top four maybe. You know what I mean? And that's not what we want. We want to be going challenging for things.
To finish off, did you have a man of the match after all that?
Yeah, I probably. Do you know what? De Gea made a few good saves, but I'd probably give it to Luke Shaw. I think he was really solid. I think he went forward okay-ish compared to like a lot of the players on the pitch, and I think he saved us a goal, didn't he? So I'm going to go with Luke Shaw.
Okay, we go again Wednesday, Crystal Palace midweek. See you then.
Must-win game.
Yeah, must-win game going into City for sure.